I asked this question once to Martin Scorsese because before I went to Hollywood, and he said to me, "Stay intact."
That's Denis Villeneuve, director of Dune, sharing his insight when asked for advice for filmmakers looking to break into Hollywood or trying to elevate their filmmaking careers.
Protect your identity, stay yourselves, try to be yourself, and make no compromise. That's what I would say. Yeah.
Villeneuve isn't alone in this regard. Satyajit Ray, my master, who inspires me as a filmmaker, shares a similar perspective on the approach to the art of direction.
I make the kind of films that I enjoy making, that engages my attention, my creativity. That's all I can do.
Ray's final words, "that's all I can do," has remained etched in my mind like a repeating refrain. To me, they signify the vast distinction between great filmmakers and the rest of the crowd. Lately, this thought has been lingering in my mind, sparked by the lists of Oscar nominations flooding my social media feeds. When I pursued the list of nominees for Best Film Directors, I couldn't help but notice a common thread among the selected films. Even though I haven't watched all of them, but I have seen 3 of the 5: Killers of the Flower Moon, Anatomy of a Fall, and Oppenheimer. But also, in a broader sense, I have seen a common trait among all the masterpieces that I have seen: the filmmakers' apparent disregard for public opinion. They seem to create their art without concern for whether people like it or not.
There's a question in my movie, if you remember. That guy says, they asked me, what do you think of the walls of this room? And the guy says, the answer is, I don't think about the walls. I don't think about all this.
Here is my another master and a brilliant contemporary filmmaker in India, consistently delivering masterpieces even at the age of 71.
I don't think at all. I just want, if a story talks to me and I feel I need to make this film, I will bloody well go out there and make it.
Right.
So, after hearing similar sentiments from the filmmakers I admire, I delve into the rabbit hole of my thoughts to understand the meaning and significance behind the phrase, "I make films for myself." Throughout this journey, I not only grasped the profound meaning behind that phrase, but also encountered some recurring factors that contributes to the prevalent mediocrity in filmmaking. In this video essay, we will delve into how the approach of making films for oneself distinguishes certain filmmakers from the rest of the crowd. Additionally, we will explore the reasons behind why many filmmakers end up making mediocre films. I have previously created a video essay on Killers of the Flower Moon, where I delve into the intricacies of Martin Scorsese's storytelling approach. As a filmmaker, what intrigued me was his unique perspective on narrating the story of mysterious murders from the perspective of the perpetrators and their relationships with the victims. Scorsese skillfully removed the typical mystery elements, crafting a poignant and thought-provoking narrative centered on greed. It's evident that if a conventional director had helmed the story, it might have merely unfolded as a standard murder mystery with the FBI sweeping in to rescue the Osage from the villains. It's not limited to just Killers of the Flower Moon. In Oppenheimer, Anatomy of a Fall, and even Past Lives, these films steadfastly adhere to their subject matter. In Oppenheimer, Christopher Nolan skillfully presents both the objective and subjective perspectives of and about Robert Oppenheimer. Using the characters of Levi Strauss and Oppenheimer himself, the film remains unwavering in its commitment to its core narrative, avoiding any deviation. Similar dedication is evident in Anatomy of a Fall and Past Lives. I have dedicated an entire video essay to exploring the narrative of Past Lives. The crucial point is that what sets these filmmakers apart from the crowd is their profound understanding of the subject matter and their unwavering honesty in their craft. So when they say, "I make films for myself," it's not a literal statement. Rather, it signifies their approach of not taking decisions on market trends or popularity, making artistic decisions without being swayed by external factors such as financial gains or seeking validation, to reflect their personal ambitions and desire in filmmaking. For these filmmakers, every creative decision is intricately aligned with the essence of the story, emphasizing a commitment to the narrative's core. These filmmakers don't perceive themselves as the sole creator of the film. Instead, they view themselves as mere contributors. They understand that these stories outlive them, so they prioritize serving the story in the best possible manner. Their decisions aren't based on personal preferences, but rather on whether the narrative permits certain actions or not. This approach helps them maintain the inherent purity and authenticity of the stories they tell. Recently, I watched the film The Unforgivable, starring Sandra Bullock and directed by Nora Finchait. Spoiler alert. The movie revolves around Ruth Slater, a woman released from prison after 20 years for the murder of a police officer. The film initially portrays Ruth's journey of redemption, showcasing the consequences of her actions and her desire to reunite with her little sister, who was merely 5 years old when Ruth was arrested. While the film has strong performances, an aspect that struck me as peculiar was the introduction of the victim's sons plotting harm against Ruth to build suspense. This diversion from the main narrative is not a significant issue until the movie unveils that Ruth was, in fact, not the perpetrator. It was her 5-year-old sister who fired the fatal shot. Personally, I found it challenging to comprehend the story after this revelation. What initially seemed like a narrative centered on redemption took an unexpected turn, leaving me feeling that the film prioritized entertainment over its core theme. The revelation that Ruth was not the actual perpetrator appeared to compromise the essence of the story, transforming what could have been a profound character exploration into a narrative with unnecessary twist. This shift, in my view, diminished the film's overall impact and relegated it to the realm of mediocrity. I use the term mediocrity to describe films where I sense a deviation from the core essence of their narrative. The Unforgivable is a prime example where prioritizing entertainment over its core theme reduces the film's overall impact and places it within the realm of mediocrity. Extraction 2 also proves to be an intriguing example where the filmmaker attempts to craft a worthy sequel to an already great movie. Upon viewing, it becomes apparent that Sam Hargrave was striving to replicate the impressive long single-take action sequence from the first film. While successful in achieving this feat, the film seems to have lost the chemistry between characters and the sense of realism that made Extraction exceptional. In the pursuit of recreating past success, Extraction 2 feels somewhat lackluster in comparison to its predecessor. This example underscores the challenge of staying focused and avoiding distractions when trying to replicate past achievements. Beside the Oscar nominee list made me realize that on one hand they showcase remarkable films, but on the other hand it poses a potential trap. Making decisions with the sole aim of winning awards might compromise the authenticity of a film. Awards in the realm of art are inherently subjective, lacking objective parameters to definitively determine one film's superiority over another. However, acquiring prestigious awards can open doors to distributors and producers for future projects. Yet, this achievement is not entirely within one's control. Ideally, filmmakers shouldn't let these considerations influence their creative process. Furthermore, certain filmmakers, particularly those who don't craft their own screenplays, tend to inject unnecessary elements, incorporating their personal perspectives and thoughts on social and political influences into a story that doesn't inherently demand such additions. This introduces distortion and deviates from the core essence of the narrative. For aspiring filmmakers, the key lesson is to deeply understand the script, especially if they haven't written it themselves. It's crucial to remain faithful to the narrative, making decisions based on what the story demands and creating the film without being overly influenced by external factors. The hope is that the film will organically find its audience. But a natural concern arises. What if it doesn't find its audience? Vincent van Gogh was a Dutch post-impressionist painter from Netherlands who is widely considered one of the most influential figures in the history of Western art. Van Gogh's art is characterized by bold colors, expressive brushwork, and emotional intensity. Some of his most famous works include Starry Night, Sunflowers, and The Bedroom. However, all the success and recognition Van Gogh achieved came after his death. He was unable to sell even a single painting during his lifetime. Did he know he was great? Certainly not. Nevertheless, that didn't deter him. Van Gogh continued to create, driven by his creative instincts. Despite grappling with personal financial struggles and mental health issues, he managed to produce over 2000 artworks throughout his relatively short career. Van Gogh's posthumous recognition shows that artistic success may not always come immediately. They need to understand that the influence of their work might not become evident long after their time, or potentially never at all. Their only course of action is to remain faithful to their vision and create meaningful work. I will also like to note that Van Gogh's struggles with mental health are a reminder of the importance of mental well-being for artists. It emphasizes the need to prioritize mental health, seek support when necessary, and recognize the connection between personal well-being and creative expression. In conclusion, this video essay has explored the significance behind the phrase "I make films for myself," emphasizing the importance of staying true to the core essence of a narrative. It delves into the peril of mediocrity when filmmakers deviate from their authentic storyline in pursuit of external recognition. Drawing parallels to Van Gogh's journey, the essay highlights the artistic dedication to his craft despite facing financial and mental health challenges, showcasing a powerful lesson for contemporary creators. The pursuit of genuine artistic expression and the willingness to create for oneself, irrespective of immediate success, can ultimately lead to profound impact and lasting recognition. That's all for this video. I hope you liked it. Thanks for watching. Have a nice day. Bye.